Wow! What's happening, everybody? It's your boy. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. That's right. We sitting in the saddle. Listen, I'm still on location. I'm excited about being on location. I have an incredible episode for you guys today. For those that are joining for the first time or may have stumbled across on the podcast, my name is Stanley Doucette, and the title of our podcast is Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I'm the host. I'm a little thrown off at times. We have a lot of fun, but we empower a ton of people, right? Wherever you are in the world, we want to empower you to make sure you have all of the things that are there. Listen, we talk from anything from dancers to prayer. We cover it all. We're not just bogged down with, say, business or with just entrepreneurship or something that, no, we talk about everything. And there's nothing off limits here. The only thing we tell our guests when they log in is just be respectful. That's it. Be respectful. Whatever your opinion is, it's your opinion, but let's just be respectful, right? Guys, I'm thrilled today. I have a powerful episode for you today that, how would I say, it's in a place where I would hope no one would have to get to, but some of us have already visited that place and others may have to visit it in the future. But either way, I want to make sure that I'm here to provide some information that most people don't think about. Most people don't even share. So I want to be that guy today to share this information and to put you guys in position to win, to be successful, to continue to be powerful, to just be the best of you. That's all we can ask for. It just be the best of you. So for those that are logging in for the first time, you guys know I like to do my commercials at the beginning. So if you are on the social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and as well as YouTube, if you will go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette, Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. If you will go to those platforms, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. If you're going to YouTube, please hit the notification button, then like it and share it and all those good things, because on YouTube, there are times where I'll just drop something, just boop, drop it in there, drop it in there again, and it stings. And most of the time, those things are less than 5 minutes, right? But I do it to continue to share wisdom with you guys, the things that have been downloaded to me and shared with me by some incredible mentors throughout my life, as well as my creator, my God himself, Jesus Christ, all of the different things that we may be able to do. But here's the thing that I want to do with you guys on today and share something that I think is powerful. I think it's powerful. So if you haven't seen any of our previous podcasts, go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette.com. LetsTalkwithStanleyDoucette.com. Go to Let's Talk with Stanley You can go there, you can subscribe, like, share, all of those wonderful things. The reason I'm saying that is because I want to talk to the people that just joining for the first time or just logging in for the first time. Thank you. Thank you. There's nothing more precious than your time. And I just want to say thank you. I'm humbled by your time. I'm humbled by the opportunity to talk to you and share some information with you. So thank you. Go ahead and grab your seatbelt, hook up today, because we're about to share something that's powerful. So for those that are wondering, what in the good goo name is he talking about? And why is he so like, yo, you got to listen to this? Is because of this. Several of my family, several of my friends, several of people in the fraternity and other people I don't even know have wound up, some of us have wound up in a position to be in, and what I'm gonna call it today, the caregiver. Yeah, the caregiver. See, all of us are not getting younger. Even if you were just born yesterday, right? Goo goo gaga, goo goo gaga. Y'all, why we talk like that? Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. Listen, when you talk about being a caregiver, a lot of us are moving into those positions, whether you're a newborn or whether you're somebody that's 60, 70, 80 years old, you still might wind up being a caregiver, right? So a lot of times people be like, oh, a caregiver, oh, that's so wonderful. And oh, you're doing such a marvelous job and all of the accolades. But let's examine that, right? Let's examine that. So a caregiver is somebody that's basically taking care of a family, a spouse, a parent, a child, a sibling, or somebody that's close to the family, and they are actually doing some powerful things, right? And they may have then turned from a medical standpoint, turn to where they may not be able to take care of themselves anymore. So now the caregiver have to step in, whether it's a son or daughter, whether it's a mother or father, whether it's a spouse, anybody of such that may have to take care of that loved one because they can't take care of themselves, right? So we all understand that. And a lot of people step in and do great. And there's a lot of families that step in and do great. But let me just go ahead on and get y'all the 411 and the dirty behind all of the stuff. Listen, I want to be honest. Listen, can you blow your horn? So for me to be honest, can you just raise your hand like in church, not church, but church, all right? Throw two hands up, whatever it is. Listen, sometimes I want to be a buck with y'all. Keep it 100. Some people say, I just want you to tell the truth, right? So if you want to do all of those things, here's something I want you guys to understand. Your family that you thought was going to rock with you, your relatives, your associates, your partners, your aces, your ace boon coon, as some people call it, they're not all going to show up. So if you're the caregiver and you expecting people to just be like, man, let me come on and let me rock with you, let me just be honest. Yeah, they're not going to show up. Yeah, most of them not going to show up. You'll get that phone call and say, oh, I'm praying for you. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate it. But can you please come help me bathe so-and-so? Can you please come help me turn them in the bed? Can you please just come and give me 5 hours to where I'm by myself and I can just relax, relate, release? See, I remember so many people that have been caregivers. Listen, there's a young man that's my cousin. I'm not gonna call his name, but I remember him caring for his mother, right? And it was a whole lifestyle changing because that was his mother and he cared for his mother. He lived next door, I'm sorry, across the street from me when I was growing up. So, that was a caregiver. It was a caregiver. He wanted to take care of his mom. So I remember that whole scenario. There's another person that I know I'm extremely close to. He became the caregiver. He stopped everything and literally, I don't want to say sat at the foot of his mom day and night the whole time. Let's just say he sat by the door. He wasn't by the foot, but he was by the door and literally sat with her day and night to make sure she had every single thing that she needed until she transitioned, right? Let me give you some more. I remember my mom sitting in the hospital with her dad. And I can go on and on and on and on. See, sometimes when you talk about caregivers, we sit and think about, oh, they did such a good time. But there are some things a lot of people don't think about. Yeah, we just don't think about that, right? Sometimes caregivers just need a break. Not that they're giving up, not that they quit, not that they're trying to run away. They just may want to just go home and take a bath in their own shower. All right. I just want to lather up my own towel with my own soap in my own tub or my own shower that I can just they may just want to sleep in their own bed for one night. Just give them a night. They may want to go home and change their drawers. Yeah, they won't change. No, yeah. I know some people say, oh, don't say draw. No, okay, you want to say panties, you want to say boxer briefs or whatever. Listen, they want to just change their dirty drawers. Now, I'm saying that and making light of it, but I really want you guys to hone in on something. The caregiver does a lot, but most people look at the person that they're attending to, but most people don't look at the actual caregiver themselves. So think about the people that something happened to their child. They stop everything. They'll go on, what is it called? FMLA from work. I think it's family medical leave. And they'll go and they'll attend to their child, right? Because of their child or it's their spouse. And they'll do everything. Now remember, they gave up their career to attend to this individual. But why is it we don't look for the caregiver? Why not bring the caregiver some food? Why not, order the caregiver a massage, right? Listen, I'm gonna take 3 hours today. Let me take these 3 hours off your hand. I've done all this. Listen, I want to at least give you a massage. I know you're under stress. I know it's stressful, all these things. So let me give you a massage, right? That's just some of the things you can do, right? But here are some of the things that we have to do collectively, not just as caregivers, but for individuals that look to other for people that's being caregivers, right? Number one, we have to communicate. Being a caregiver is difficult in and of itself, right? Because you looking at your loved one and their health is declining. And when their health is declining, there are some things that are changing. Now, there are some caregivers that get in as a progression, is progressively get worse. And then some is just overnight. One day you're doing this, the next day you a caregiver. You have no idea how in the world I got to this. Now, let me just say this when we talk about communication for both the caregiver and the people that's looking at the caregiver, right? So from the caregiver, it's important that the caregiver have powerful communication with the family, the loved ones, and sharing exactly what they need for themselves to continue to operate at the highest level as a caregiver, but then also what's needed for the individual that they're caring for. See, sometimes people just want to be like, I hear and I've heard and I've seen these horror stories with somebody have a house or somebody have a little coin, some coins in the bank. And they are like, oh, they want to now do everything they can, right, to try to position themselves to get some coins or position themselves to get the house. That's not what it's about. It's about taking care of that individual in perhaps their final days, right? So, how do you care for that individual? So, it's very important for the caregiver to communicate not just for what that person or the person that you're caring for needs, but it's also important to report, respond, communicate, however you want to say it, to make sure not just the spouse or the immediate family knows, but everybody know, like, hey, listen, we need some assistance on this day. Can you help out or whatever it may be? So we have to communicate what it is that's going on. Now, let me tell y'all, y'all crooked folks, y'all people that just doing dirty. Don't try to just roll in at the ninth hour in 59 seconds thinking, okay, well, I'm such and such child and I should get part of the this or to that. Stop. As a matter of fact, turn around and bring your little happy self home. The caregiver, when you're communicating, make sure you understand and share with individuals. You don't need any stress coming to the hospital, the house, or wherever it is, because you're already under a lot of stress. You're already on edge. And let me also say that to the caregiver. Listen, if you take an FMLA or you just taking a step away from the job or the career or the business or whatever it is, or you just got that phone call, do me a favor. Uh, don't snap. Don't snap. I know it's easier said than done, but don't snap. Don't snap. Somewhere in there, I have something about a partner, and I'm gonna share that with you. But just don't snap. Just make sure we're communicating with everybody, so prayerfully they can at least come together and at least stay out your way, so they don't frustrate you. Or for those that really truly love you, they're gonna show up. They're gonna show up and show up. Matter of fact, they're gonna knock on the door and they're going to stand in the hallway and say, listen, I don't know if I could even come into the hospital room, or I don't know if I could come into this room, or I don't know if I could even come into the house. But I just wanted to show up and show my support. I just wanted to give you a hug and say, listen, I'm here. It is okay. I just wanted to verify with you my love for being my sister or my brother or my uncle or my aunt or my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, my dad. I just wanted to show up without carrying any other foolishness. I just wanted to show up and share with you my love, support, and all those things. See, those things are powerful. And the caregiver will be able to continue on because he can feel or she can feel that support. So that's one thing. Another thing for a caregiver is organization, right? You are now thrust into someone's life. Whether it's your mother, your father, you still thrust into their life. So you're going to have to organize each day. What is the priority of that day? You cannot listen. They're going to have, once that happens, I promise you, you're going to have everybody and their cousin calling you talking about, you should do this. Well, what about this? And did you find this out? Did you do it? Listen, let all of that go. Let it go. Clean out the window. Prioritize organize what is the priority. Make sure you organize what's a priority. Whatever number one is, it may be taking them to the doctor. That's priority number one. It is not to find out, did they switch over the bank accounts, right? Priority number one is making sure they, as a he or she, get to the actual doctor's office or the hospital appointment or the scan or whatever it is. Make sure they get there on time, safe, and make sure that you're present and staying with them. Go as far as you possibly can go to hold their hand. If they're in a wheelchair, wheel them as far as you can go. If they're on a gurney their way all the way into however long or however far you can go. But you want to make sure that you're staying there to make sure they feel your love. Now, in organizing all of that, when you communicate, because that's part of the organization, after you understand where you're going, you probably want to communicate and let everybody know, he or she has a doctor's appointment or a hospital this, or the surgery start this time, whatever it may be. So everybody's on the same page. You want to stay organized also with the doctor's appointments. A lot of times people say like, no, I'm just not organized. You better get organized, because these doctor's appointments and this and that and all of these other things, they're going to come fast and furious. And you better get something to either write it down or put it in your phone. I think everybody has pretty much now a smartphone. You better put it in your phone, put it in your calendar. That way you can set reminders, you know what's going on the next day, you know what's the priority, and then you can move forward from there. So make sure you continue to stay organized. Now, let me give you a hint. If you're not the most organized individual, that's okay. That's okay. But converse with someone that is organized, that can help you at least put things in perspective or put things in place so you can continue to do what you're best at, whatever that may be. But don't sit there being a caregiver and don't be organized and you forget this appointment, you forget to pay this bill, you forget to go to the bank, you forget to call a life insurance company, you forget. Don't do that. Partner yourself and get with somebody that you can actually sit there and allow them to help you walk through. If you're a great researcher, great, you do the research. If your sister is a great, I don't know, I'll just say person to bring somebody to the hospital, let them do that. Regardless of what it is, we want to make sure we stay organized, okay? Here is something for caregivers, the families, and everybody. This is important. Willingness to learn. Let me say that again. Willingness to learn, because most people are not in the industries that we're going into. You might be in a medical industry, but you might be in a different part. You might be in insurance, but you might be in a different insurance, or you might have a different series, right? Regardless of what, let the experts be the experts. Here's the thing though. You have to want to learn. You got to be willing to learn so you can make sure you are making the best decision, not position, best decision for the individual that you're caring for. For the opposite side, for people that's looking at the caregiver, you have to make sure that you're learning what's going on. You cannot just jump up and say, I think you should do this. And then when you say, why? Because that's what I feel. Your feelings have nothing to do with this. We need information. We want to make sure that when the doctors are saying certain things, if you have to have a nurse there or another doctor or somebody that can understand medical terminology, hey, let's get that. If you need to sign up, watch this, for One Voice Healthcare and get our nurses hotline to make sure you understand some of these medical terminology, yep, go ahead and give me a call. I'll help you get that. Why? It is literally that important for your willingness to learn. You must learn. Your willingness to learn will help you make the best decisions for the individual you're caring for. For the family that's looking to help the caregiver, if he call and say a name or something and you don't know what it is, call your cousin that's the nurse, call your sister that's the nurse, or the doctor, or a healthcare provider, or somebody, so you can get the information and then share with the caregiver. That's when you starting to work as a family, as a group, as a unit. But stop wanting to be the one seen and you're not doing nothing but getting in everybody's way. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Right? So as a caregiver, you must be willing to learn the whatever that industry is and how they're taking you, right? So if you're talking about what are the things that Medicare and Medicaid do and don't do? What's the spending limits? What does it look like for life insurance? How does that all work? How does what is it, pre-burials work? How does do you have a plot? You know, all of these different things you're thinking about, but you may have never been in there, right? So be willing to learn and be willing to allow someone to share wisdom and guidance with you in those areas. Don't sit there and walk around talking about you know everything, even for you doctors. You may know certain things, but everything you don't know, and especially if you're dealing with a loved one, allow someone to share with you, right? To help you with your decisions and help you do the things that you need to do. All right? Okay. Now that's willing to learn. Planning. This is difficult. Let me slow down a second. This is difficult because you got to have some difficult decisions. You got to have some difficult conversations with the loved one, right? You got to ask things like, where would you like to be buried? Where would you like to be funeralized? Do you have health insurance? Do you have, yeah, literally, people like health, yes. Do you have health insurance? Do you have Medicare? Do you have Medicaid? Would you like for me to start the applications, right? Um, what else? Where would you like to be funeralized at? You know, it's a whole bunch of things that you have to go through. You know, do you have some, and I hate to say it this way, but do you have some money stashed away? Do you have a power of attorney? If not, who do you want to be the power of attorney over your estate? Do you have a will? Do you have, I mean, do you have a trust? And I can go on and on and on. All of these different things you will have to know, understand, and have some level of grasp in these areas to make great decisions, right? You're gonna have to know that. Listen, you know, a lot of times you'll talk to somebody, and they may say, listen, I don't want a funeral, I want to be cremated, right? And you may be like, I'm not gonna let parent so and so be cremated. I'm gonna have this such and such funeral, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. But you're not honoring them, you're honoring yourself. Caregivers, make sure you follow the wishes of the individual that you're caring for, not anything else, but just the individual that you're caring for, right? That's easy, right? So when you're talking about planning, now you have to start to go into these different levels of planning. What does this look like moving forward, right? It may not be until death do us part, but it may be some changes in lifestyle that you have to get used to. What happens if the doctor come out and say, you know what, he or she can no longer drive? Now all of a sudden, and he can't be left, or she can't be, or they can't be left alone. Now you need 24-hour care. Now you have to understand and learn something else. So now you got to plan on all of this, right? Now, what does that look like? Hey, do you have adult daycares? Do you have free things for adults to go to that they may be able to participate in? Can the insurance pay for this? can Medicare, Medicaid pay for this? So what are the different things that they have to do to make sure you can pay for it? I'm not sure, but you have to be willing to learn that and plan that all the way out so we can make the best decision for that individual we are caring for. You see, sometimes it's not an easy thing to make things happen. We have to continue to push forward and go into whatever decisions or realms that we have to go in to make sure that individual we are caring for is where they need to be. There are so many different things to this, but there's so many opportunities that we just fumble the ball or we don't want to talk about it. Let me talk about the Black community for a second. What's wrong with ourselves? We don't never want to talk about the hard decisions, right? And we want to keep family secrets, family secrets. This is not the time to keep the family secret a family secret. If such and such is really not such and such daddy, it's now time for you to tell them because they're about to maybe go see the maker. You have to do all of these different things. So if you're going there and they need a blood transfusion, or they're saying, well, let me see your blood types because we need to get like a blood type or something like that, right? It's not time to be like, oh, that's the daddy. You know good and well, Uncle so-and-so is the daddy. Come on, y'all. We cannot do those things any longer. We have to open up the box and push forward so we can continue to take care of the individual being a caregiver. To the families that's talking to the caregiver, please don't bring up foolishness. Please don't bring up Uncle Willie and Aunt JoJo. Don't do that. Nobody cares. We're here to take care of the caregiver. So we want to make sure as we're planning, right? As we're learning, as we're organizing, as we're communicating, we're doing it properly. So everybody can understand where they're going. No, let me just say this. Play your damn role. Yeah, I said it just like that. Play your damn role. If your role is to just call every morning at 7 o'clock to make sure that individual we all are taking care of has taken their medicine, you call every morning at 7 o'clock. That's what you do. Stop trying to be the one. And let me talk about the caregiver. Caregiver. If your brother or your sister or your mother or your father or your grandmother or your grandfather requests to see somebody, let them come see them. It seems easy, but we have caregivers that think they run shit. No. Get with the person you're caring for. And if they want to see Uncle JoJo, you may be dead set against it. But they're on their dying bed or they're in a bad space. Let them see Uncle JoJo. It is not up to you. Now, I'm not saying Uncle JoJo get to stay there for 5 hours and cut up and cause all kind of confusion. But if they want to see Uncle JoJo, it is your responsibility to make sure you get Uncle JoJo there to see them. Make sure you do that. You know, I'm going to say this story with somebody in that same vein. And you talk about planning, right? So a particular person, I don't want to go through the whole story, but somebody close to them was dying, right? And they were at work. We had a whole plan just in case something happens. Well, let me tell them to the family. You have to alert the children or the grandchildren or the spouses if something happens. Do not wait 5 hours. I almost cuss. I'm hot thinking about this. And then call and say, oh, they're close to dying. And you at least 45 minutes away. I'm looking away from and on YouTube because I really won't go off. Don't do that. Call the individuals. And one of the things people would always say, I didn't want to bother you. It's my mother, it's my father, it's my grandmother, my grandfather, it's my son, it's my daughter. What the hell you mean you don't want to bother me? There's nothing more important in the world. Oh, I don't want to bother you at work. Listen, get out of here with that foolishness. Get out of here with that foolishness, right? It just don't make no sense. But as a caregiver, we have to continue to plan in those ways to make sure we get all of that stuff ironed out at the beginning, at the very beginning. Flexibility. You have to be flexible. Doctor appointment change. Doctors are going out of town. If you call in different state agencies or community agencies or parish or county agencies, you're calling for assistance and foundations and all different things. You have to be flexible. You have to literally be flexible. The reason I say you have to be flexible because all the time they will, their schedules change and the hospital schedules change and insurance change and all kind of things change. So you have to be flexible. Yes, I understand planning. And yes, I understand being in a place where you're supposed to be at the proper time. But sometimes that may change and you have to be flexible, right? You legitimately have to be flexible because if you're not flexible and you're stern in this, you're gonna have some bad days as a caregiver. Family, I'm saying that to you. Y'all have to be flexible too, because you're thinking, oh, the doctor's appointment is at 9 o'clock. And then you turn around and be like, well, what are you doing? Well, they changed the appointment. And now you mad and huffy and puffy because you wanted to do this, this, and this. Listen, be flexible. It's that simple. Be flexible. And if you feel like I got some bass in my voice and I'm talking to you or some of these other crazy people, because I am. You don't have your way. Remember, it's up to the person we are caring for. As a caregiver, you and you and you, as a caregiver, please be flexible. Please be flexible. I know a lot of times I didn't put none of this in talking about being patient, but boy, pack your patience. Lord, pack your patience. Anyway, so be flexible. Now, this is what I want to talk to everybody about too, and more specific, I don't want to say specifics, but with more passion behind it, and that's your belief. You know, regardless of who you believe in, what you believe in, all of that stuff, I'm not here to discuss that with you. I'm here for you to believe. Believe in what you're doing. You're the caregiver. Remember, you're the closest to the individual we're caring for. So your belief and your energy towards that individual is actually going to come off to that individual. So you have to make sure that you're solid in your belief that everything is going to be okay. Even if they're in hospice and they're on their dying bed, you still have to give that belief that they're going to be okay. You have to share that information. Some people may say, I don't believe in the afterworld. I don't care. You still have to stay positive. You still have to believe. You still have to sit on the throne of sharing that belief with them. You cannot get off your throne as the caregiver and say, you about to die. Yeah, you about to. No, no. You have to share that power with them that everything is going to be all right, regardless. Yes, regardless. And some people may be offended by saying sitting on your caregiver throne because that's what you're doing. You're literally sitting there providing guidance, hope, aspiration, inspiration, empowerment, empowering. You're spilling truth to them. You're sharing powerful things with them. It is not the foolishness, right? So when you're sharing, put it in a form of belief. If your belief is fading, that's when you take a break. Walk outside, walk in a circle, walk in the backyard, do whatever it is. But make sure you believe. Let me tell y'all a story. I don't really open up too much about me, but let me tell y'all a story, right? It's so many different times when you talk about caregiving and all this stuff. But I remember when before COVID and all that stuff, and I was talking to my grandmother, and one day she just felt a little ill, like she didn't feel good, right? And just so happened I was there, and woo, woo, and just like so this was my mom's mom, and I went into the house and said some things, and we communicated and conversed, and we prayed together. But I was looking at it, and I was like, man, she don't look good right now, and woo, it was eating me up. And I remember telling my mom, like, she just don't look good. So my mom was like, oh no, she's fine. Just that and dust may be the ailment, but she's okay. And I was talking to my mom, and boy, my eyes swelling up with tears, and I'm like, oof, right? I'm just taking these deep breaths and doing those different things, and I'm trying to figure it out and what else can we do and all that stuff. And I remember after we finished, and I talked to my mom and I talked back to my grandmother, and we prayed again together, and she turned and she looked at me and she said, thank you, just thank you, right? And at the time I was the caregiver because for a little bit my mom and them, I think, went to the store, get some sodas and some things. It wasn't a long time, and she just turned and she said thank you. But the way she said thank you, it hit me. And I say it hit me hard. And I was just trying, y'all know how you be. You open your eyes wide, you hold them open. So if you blink, you're going to start crying. I didn't get all of that. And she just was saying, thank you. Whew. So when my mom got back, I went outside and I started pacing. And then My best friend was there, and I hopped in a car, and we was about to head on back to Atlanta. And I got in the car, and boys, we I don't even know if we turned the corner yet. And I just start bawling, right? I just start bawling. But here's the thing that I did before I started bawling, before I started crying in front of her. I shared belief with her. I shared power with her. I shared grace with her. I shared love with her. I shared an inspirational story with her. Whatever it is to let her know that it is going to be okay. My grandmother would say, if you do good, good is going to follow you. If you do good, good is going to follow you. And I remember sharing her same words with her. It wasn't no deep, nothing. It was what she would share with me. And she turned and she said, thank you. And boy, when she said thank you, it hit me, the amount of energy and force that hit me in that soft voice, y'all will not believe. But in conversing with her and just sharing the power of belief, she got it. And, she went to the hospital and they figured out what was wrong, and she wound up living a few more years. I'm not saying it was because of what I said in belief, but I was just talking about that story and how you sharing with somebody, don't give up, just believe everything is going to be okay. Regardless of what that is, it's going to be okay. So we did that story. And then, the last piece, and I'm going into this on the last one, is a partner. Ooh, you need a partner. It may be a male and female. It may be just a male. It may be just a female. It don't matter. But it has to be somebody that can carry your weight and be truthful to you. It has to be somebody that loves you in a way that it's unexplainable, right? It has to be somebody that walked in your shoes and can give you some advice and say, Stanley, listen, I've been in this situation before and I know it's hard, but listen, this is what you can expect. And if you need help or you need just 10 minutes and you need a break, call me. Or if I'm around the corner, is it okay if I come just so you can take a ride to the store by yourself? And just let the fresh air and the fresh breeze get to you. What is it that I can do as your partner in this and walk through that? See, it's not always your family that can do that because they may be just as weak. But you as the caregiver, you may need that outlet to that man or that woman that can help you walk through this thing. In the depths of night when you're crying and you're snotting everywhere and you're just trying to get your own self together, you need somebody you can call on. Now, I hear people will say, people will say like, oh, well, call on the Lord. That's true. But the Lord will also answer you and say, also call this person so you can hear a physical voice sometimes. It may be something different. You may just need somebody that you can just be on the phone crying and screaming and all that, and they can just sit on the phone and listen to you. Whatever it is, find that partner. Find that partner that can hold your hand through it, because as a caregiver, it is just as hurtful as seeing your loved one decline in health. But you need that partner that can help you believe and lift you up. Man, you need that partner. It may not even be your spouse. It may not be your brother or your sister. Understand that. But you need that partner. That partner is powerful. That partner is going to help you. There are some people I hear when they talk about you got to pull the plug, right? And people get nervous about pulling the plug, and they just ball up. Oh, glory, right? And it hurts them so much, but they don't have nobody to walk with them. Have that partner. That partner could stand there with you if you have to do such an unforgettable and I don't even know the words. It's just an unforgettable event that you may have to pull the plug, or you may have to be in a room with that person that has to pull the plug. Lord, make sure you as a partner can handle that and walk that caregiver to the place where they need to be. Or if you're the caregiver and you're looking at that partner, right, that's holding your hand, give them something to hold on to. Don't try to walk away and say, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Oh, no, no, no. I'm good, dog. Men don't cry. Let's stop that foolishness, right? Stop all that. Let it out. Because your partner can handle it. Let it out. Make sure when that partner, It's not somebody that's going to throw it back in your face for some bullshit. Make sure that partner is that partner, right? That they can hold you up, walk with you, regardless of, regardless of what. That partner is there to walk with you, maybe two, maybe three. I doubt if it's that many, but at max it's probably two, right? But make sure that partner's there with you to walk you through. So to all of the caregivers out there, all of the families that are going through something that need a caregiver, all of those individuals that have literally stopped their lives to make sure that individual have a respectable, a decent, a powerful, and a non-forgetful the remaining days of their life. Make sure that you're there, and make sure you bless every caregiver that's out there. Thank them for what they do, because they have given up all. You know, they talk about what's the difference between a pig and let's say the hog and the chicken. Yeah, the chicken gave something, but the hog gave it all up, right? The chicken laid the egg, but the hog gave it all up so you can have the ham, so you can have the bacon, right? The chicken just laid the egg. Think about that. Some of the caregivers just stop and give it all up to make sure that the individual they're caring for have the most beautiful time the rest of their life, right? So listen, we close that out, and I share with you this. Love somebody in a way that they cannot repay you. Don't look at them for what they did. Look at the power of love of what you can share and change their life. So with that being said, go to all of our social media platforms: LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Go there. Go to our website, letstalkwithstanleydoucette.com. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate, great. I would love for you to donate. Continue to help me build this platform and build a podcast so more people can take a listen to what we have to say. But with that being said, all of the caregivers, thank you. On this Memorial Day, thank you for everybody that served. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you for me to be able to do this platform. I love you guys. Peace and blessings, and we'll see you guys on the beaches of the world. God bless, and y'all have a great evening. Good night.